Positioning in the team fights can be great for complexity. You've got global maneuvering that can come in from both the Ember and the Prophet. VS with swap can be a fantastic safe. But I'm interested to see again, like, can they break through the Na'Vi defense? Do they find the items in time, like, to get those? Just because I'm wondering, like, how long does it take for Greaves? How long does it take for like the sustain items to arrive on Na'Vi? How long for BKBs?
Well, the thing about it is, right now, if you're Cole, the Venge is sick with the Dusa just because if the goal is to get rid of the Link. And if you can juke the Link on Dusa, you really have nothing that takes you down this game. 343 is also going to want to avoid the wall. You don't want to give away your aura to the enemy side. And compLexity is going to look to be targeting the roster throughout most of this game because it's most of the control on the side of Na'Vi. Always got to be aware. Na'Vi, they can hit that amazing Dark Seer combo with the Jakiro, one of my favorites. 5 supports nowadays on this Jakiro. Like, they're not going for the Liquid Fire or Q. They're going to go with 2-4-2 most of the time. Yep. So by 20-25 minutes, that will be a possibility.
It's great zoning up on the top. The same thing's happening on the bottom with the Darkseer. Having his Iron Shells available, they'll end up just splitting the runes 50-50.
Yep. This is a tough lane for bot, but what I expect to see here is Z-Freak securing top with Death for a bit, and then I'd like to see him teleport bottom and find a kill on somebody down here. You want to get Miracle specifically ahead, because this Darkseer versus Ember matchup is all about who is able to pressure. If you get a couple points in Flame Guard up, and then you can just start diving for this Rasta, there's no counterplay for Na'Vi, and it's very difficult for a Jakiro 5 position to rotate. You can't find kills unless you're actually pressuring this lane.
Do you actually like still having like the double stout shields? It's on Darkseer for Blizzy.
I think it's fine because he's going to look to back lane, because once Ember has 2 points Flame Guard, you don't really want to play in the lane anymore. And yeah, exactly. You can actually just do it right away, and then Rasta's free to roam, so that works too.
Just wondering, like, how the math works. Like, if you get more protection or more regeneration just by having the mangoes, or putting that money into something else.
Yeah. 3 for 3. Oh, okay, actually, Chu blocked his own hard camp. That's interesting. So they're just trying to out-farm bottom, I suppose. That's the main reason. He's going to just tank the creeps and walk through the enemy jungle with them. This is not necessarily ideal, though, because you're giving Ember free XP. And as soon as Z-Freak looks to get active, it could be tough to survive in this bottom lane. But for now, he's just going to try and contest Furion, starting with that Blightstone against a Wraith King with only 2 armor. That means you're doing 100% pure damage with your auto attacks. And Z-Freak, just with those boots and that Enchant Totem, is just smacking him in the face. But
they try and turn it around. Hit him with the Door Breath, as well as the stun from Wraith King, and Z-Freak, he's burning. Oh. And it will be enough with that last attack. Such a long range on the Liquid Fire. That's definitely not what the circle says that range is. But it won't matter. First blood goes the way of Na'Vi. Seems like 343 is also having a very hard time trying to keep Chu away on this bottom lane. He's got 1 tango left, not a lot of life to work with.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think you're fine with it. You're trading CS on an Ember for CS on a Darkseer. You're always fine with that as the Ember. And it's unfortunate that Z-Freak died top, just really walked out of position. You know, it happens. Mid, Limp doing a great job. It's a slightly Razor-favored matchup. Dusa starts to take over once you get enough points in Snake, so the fact that he's done this well and hits that Snake means that he's going to be just fine. And that's very much a Dusa-favored game, if that makes sense. Like, if you can stay ahead in the laning phase, you'll always be able to outscale.
And then really hitting hard into Chu again. Miracle and 343 working in, and this is the way they push them out of the lane. Blizzy as well as Chu are trying to take a double wave, and they're going to pay the price for it. With 343 and Miracle getting both of these kills. In fact, Miracle claims both of them into his own pocket.
You can see that's the second point in Flame Guard, just as expected. Once you have that up, you can tank Ion Shells for long enough that you'll be able to deal the damage to kill the squishy Rasta. And that was a very big chain of events there, because Miracle now, he'll be able to start taking over this game if they can stay aggressive bottom. I'd like to see Z-Freak get involved.
He's doing it again. Miracle actually just ran straight up towards Chu, but Blizzy, there she shackles out. The Iron Shell, they're burned through. He's got no more Flame Guard available, so Miracle, Sleight of Fist, tries to dodge it, but that big advantage that he had, we throw it away, and Na'Vi knows it. The tips begin. And it's
I would tip him too. I would tip him too.
He can at least TP back into the lane, so he won't miss out on too much experience, but he still gives a lot to the offlane of Na'Vi.
That was something I remember I used to do every once in a while. Z-Freak would be laning with me when I was still playing Core. He'd be like, yo, Kyle, I'm going to heal. Don't die. Like, all right, no problem. Now we get ganked, okay? I would not dive through the creep wave with Flame Guard active. Like, what? Moving on. Moving on.
Yeah. Let's keep Kyle happy and positive today.
Go back to your lane, Miracle. Come on.
So
this is fine.
Blizzy's trying to creep skip it out. He thought maybe with 3-4-3 they had the possibility of killing off Chu, but with those boots he's picked up pretty early on, it's difficult work. But Blizzy's in pretty deep. He's got no boots available, but he's already got that early bottle available, and that's why they now shackle over. But Blizzy needs to work his way out of the tree line before he can get the burn into 3-4-3.
It's a nice time he's getting some denies. Like, this is not really worth for Na'Vi, because if you think about it, this mid wave could be pressured a bit if the roster was off map. But I love this ward. You can see that Limp places the sentry or the ward on his own hill on the right side. That's to prevent the roster from being able to come over and find kills. And Knight up top, Z-Freak and Death will find a kill just before the rune spawn.
I'll get 2.
Ooh, or will they?
Maybe. Crystallize, dropping down low. Stick charges will bring him back up. And they do actually get it.
Yeah, really well done by Death there.
Look at him move quickly. The Jakiro is coming for the extra bounty rune. So they'll only get 1 from the top, but they'll get 2 from the bottom, Na'Vi.
Yeah, I like this too. Z-Freak buys a bottle because he's able to get the rune, and that's very valuable. He won't go for the arcanes now, and that's just fine. He can just get the stick and then immediately look to possibly start going for the blink dagger. And so far, it's looking much better for compLexity.
The item build actually makes sense to you this time?
Yeah. Actually, the one thing I want to edit for Limp, I'm probably going to tell him about after this game, is that every Medusa that goes mid nowadays, you're buying a Quelling Blade, and you're killing the trees. So we got 1 stack off, but you want to be able to farm this as you're pushing out middle. You can just spam Snake on medium camps and almost always gain mana based on what the spawns are. This one, unfortunately, is unlucky. If you get Satyrs, it's great, because you just go immediate full mana.
Chu's moving in towards the mid lane. I don't know what they're looking for here. The Fissure comes out. He's got 3 points up in the Mystic Snake. He's just spamming towards Magical.
Now, this is cool. They're just trying to pressure a bit with the Catapult Wave. Might have wanted to glyph there, but they'll survive. Bottom, Miracle's just continuing to trade against the Darkseer. And you're feeling good if you're Cole, though, because you're not only the more active team right now, but you also have the late game. So it's all about just trying to grow your advantage without making any big errors. Death up top is the one in danger. He's got to be cautious here. Very strong, but it's similar to Darkseer. If Furian's ahead, you're owning the lane. If you fall behind, you just start feeding.
He's got such great movement speed though, like because he's got the phase boots up nice and early, the armor's nice, the Blightstone he can harass in nicely too. Z-Freak even just doing the old classic ES thing, walk up to the lane, put down a fish, and no one can move forward. Give his room from 3-4-3, let him set up onto Blizzy, not wanting this pull to allow to happen too easily. Nature's Prophet was thinking about TPing down as well. In fact, they are going to bring in the extra support. He's got Surge off cooldown in 1 second time, the Sprout just body blocking up Blizzy, but there's 3 heroes coming to this lane. Just try and be a bit more of a pain in the butt, but Miracle leaves the lane alone, so his tier 1 tower actually soaked up a wave full of creeps.
I'd like to see Limp rotate to the jungle completely, put the Shaker mid, and then Death, you just start playing a bit passive top, place a ward on your own high ground, and just chill. Because right now, no one on Na'Vi can farm the jungle too effectively. Sure, the Darkseer could, but that means he's not in the bottom lane, and your Ember is going to be hard free farming. This is still looking really good for Cole if they can just kind of keep the game stabilized, just because of how their heroes will better utilize time to farm jungle.
Z-Freak, he's in trouble. Just a little bit too far up, tried to get closer to Misha, who was just farming up the side camp. And that's just a simple control, shackle, stun, and kill.
It's just, it's a problem with where they're standing, because Death is mid and Z-Freak's top. You got to swap there because you just aren't built to survive in these sorts of scenarios. And
you're also flagging to the fact you need to give Z-Freak the space, right? Because without the blink dagger, without the levels, he's never going to be that initiator that you need him to be. And they kind of need that because Blizzy's still getting a lot of money on bottom lane. That's why they add more pressure. Miracle and Death working together against this Darkseer.
This is all right, but I still feel like it's a bit early. Like, you were owning top, right? But now, suddenly, even though Death at a point had double the CS of Crystallize, the Wraith King's now moved ahead, and it's because Death is prioritizing getting aggressive.
Shackles around, 3-4-3's in trouble. Z-Freak, he's gonna land the Fissure. He will get himself a double stun. You got the Wraithfire Blast available. In fact, Death's gonna rotate in. There's a good Sleight of Fist. Miracle committing the spirits to break through the trees and get right on top of Crystallize, who will go down for a double kill of Z-Freak. That's how you get him the money.
Yep, and that's great. And that's the key to playing this Ember Spirit. And I love when teams have this option. A hero that has the ability to teleport and turn kills around. Like, you just can't make these sorts of plays against a lot of the cores that are finding success in this patch. Like, I've seen Storm work great, Embers work great, Kunkka. Anything that can make that sort of maneuver just makes the game so simple for your team.
The only difference you kind of feel on the other side of the map is what happened on bottom lane. Like Blizzy and Magical came down to bottom lane to add pressure towards this lane, and losing that tier 1 tower early on. How does this actually affect complexity? Like, is this a critical tower to actually control the map? Is it worthwhile to trade for the tier 1 up on top? Even though they may not even get the trade.
You're all right with it, but definitely when you're the Furion draft, you'd like to be able to be the team applying the pressure first. But, you know, when Miracle rotated, that's just kind of how the way the cookie crumbles. I still feel like Cole's doing a disservice to their supports by not allowing one of them to just sit in the mid lane. Both supports kind of playing this more of like, I'm going to sit in the side lane, try and defend my towers a bit, get what I can. What, damn.
Quick stat.
That's why, what's wrong with Knoxville? What's that supposed to mean, huh?
He's just trying to throw some shade. That's all he's trying to do. He's sipping Red Eye's grape juice. Or his Barocca.
That's a lot more than I thought we'd play.
There's a lot on top lane coming in.
It's a big dive.
Yeah, they're going in very deep. Miracle really wanted it. The TP was coming in from Razor and Magical. Able to get it off, but they went in too deep. And Z-Freak, all that hard-earned money, which is trying to get into the Blink Dagger. Yep. He's going to lose a large chunk of it. 100 gold.
Oh, bounties. What about the bounties? No, compLexity, they just ran away. Yep. They didn't realize it was 10 minutes. And Miracle, he'll get the top real rune, but he will lose the 1 bounty. So they get the way. It's only 10 minutes, so it's not a huge deal. But Na'Vi does take the gold lead off that move.
It's still a 3-1.
Yeah.
There you go. Even though it's not, it's the 10-minute runes. You see the difference in the gold gain. Yeah. 955 to the 2050.
Yeah, Limp has just spent way too much time in this mid lane. I have seen Deuces with the exact same game that he's had, with, you know, 1,000 more net worth, and it's just because he's not farming jungle. He's playing way too much around the mid lane, and again, you know, the supports need that XP. Like, this is not the heat map you should be looking at. You just continuously farm 7 camps around the jungle. Like, it's not fair. That's the reason you're maxing the split shot, and it's just an inefficient farming rotation.
He's getting pushed so hard on bottom lane too that, like, is this going to be where you have to rotate next in towards the mid lane? Sprout is out, Magical. Still 31 points of damage, trying to get his way through the trees, but the Fissure blocking is making it difficult just to walk away. Misha is nearby. He go for the door press, trying to get rid of the damn trees. Ice Path, not enough mana for it. He's short by 5, and the Sprout won't catch Magical. But on bottom lane, the push is coming in. It's Miracle trying to kill off the Shaman. Blizzy's just going for the tower. They're happy to accept Chu's death while they use the Darkseer illusion of the VS with the Mass Serpent Wars just to take down a tier 2 tower. We're 11.5 minutes into this game. Searing Chains, it didn't even hit on the TPing out Darkseer.
Trying to kill this mid tower. They will finish it off. Limp with the last hit too. That's very big, and still an even game, an incredibly even game. But your concern as Cole is that you've got the Prophet. This hero will fall off. It's one of the best heroes in Dota at this early game, but so far Navi's done a great job of equalizing that pressure bottom, trading towers. Whenever you can stay even with the Furion draft in objectives, you feel good. However, that Deuce is still scary. You get this massive Ancient stack that Limp might look to farm now with the assistance of 343, and that is exactly what they're going to do.
Do you like this type of disable build coming in from Prophet? Like, you've been talking about the Fury, and he's going in for the early Orchid after having the phase boots and like the Blight Stone just for lane presence. Is this the way you go these days, as opposed to building up a split push?
I think that Orchid is okay, but he should have gone Medallion first, especially with Avenge. Especially when you consider the low armor on effectively every hero except for this Darkseer right now. Like, Razor's got 11, but you know, with the assistance of the Venge W and the Medallion, you would actually be taking every single hero below 0 armor at the moment on the side of Na'Vi, and that's a ton of damage. I mean, you consider how aggressive he's been playing. There's just no reason not to pick up items. Since there's just so many slots now, he'd have that item forever, and no one else is going to have one. I'm
also just wondering, like, who he's meant to be targeting with it. Like, is there a specific hero you want to pop this Orchid on? Because you're getting a Yule Scepter build into Razor, so he's not going to care about that item. And
Darkseer's going to go Greaves.
Darkseer's going to go Greaves, and you got Reincarnation on Razor. Yeah. That's not your target. It's like, well, I'm going to stop Shaman. Like, if he gets Mass Serpent Wars down, he's already happy. And getting the Jakiro is so damn tanky that I don't know if it's really going to be worth it. Hence, I started just begging that question. Like, do you want to go for something else here?
Like this 3 for 3 is just playing bottom behind his Ember Spirit. So far, you know, it's looking good. Like you're gonna have a Maelstrom on Miracle soon. Limp has Dragonlance soon to finish up the Yasha. So he is huge, all right? It's just a question of when does this Shaker Blink come online? We're gonna smoke.
Yep, looking for their targets. Prophet's gonna add the pressure to on the bottom lane going into the tier 1 tower, but Blizzy, he's got his Iron Shelled up Centaur. The Iron Shell is gonna wear off in 1 second. So he won't have that deep push he's looking for, but he's got friends. Smoke coming in from both Jakiro as well as the Razor, both heading down to the south. And as Dire scans, he doesn't see anybody. The Sprout sees Darkseer in the trees. You can't move through that small area.
This is the problem with the Prophet against the Razor and the Darkseer. This is
what an invis rune.
So much vision.
He's in the back line. Wait, what? He attacked the Satyr? What is he doing? Jakiro instantly gets stunned up by the magic missile, and he just revealed his position. You get the Ice Path off, so Z-Freak trapped inside the Mass Serpent Wards. VS swapped him out and gets himself trapped inside the Mass Serpent Wards. I feel like I'm watching like the Three Stooges all over again. A quick jump over a Miracle into the lanes. Another Spirit jump as far as he can go. He's got TP Scroll available. He'll burn every Spirit he's got. Is there a cancel? Oh, he reached him just in time. The surge from the Darkseer allows the Hex to connect, and Miracle, no matter how big you are, you can still fall.
Why are we doing it? The bounty runes are about to spawn, Toby. You don't have Medusa. You got a Medusa that's free farming. It's the safe lane tier 1.
They're gonna get 3 bounty runes into Na'Vi once again.
It's a Razor Wraith King Darkseer. You know what these heroes love? When people run at them, when they pressure them, they aren't gonna. There's no initiation on Na'Vi. They can't actually get anything done. But if you walk into Shelob's lair.
Hey, it's all right. Just the way the story goes, they got stung a little bit, but they're not dead yet. Samwise Gamgee, we need you. We need you, Sam.
Death is going to be a non-factor in this game. I don't care if he gets an Orchid. He's only level 8, and as we've discussed, this Orchid is just
here we go again.
Not a thing. Like,
we actually missed the way this started. He had an Invis rune. They saw so much information, Na'Vi. I don't know if he was like, you know, I'm going to bait. It's just a bait, guys.
The way you play this game is complexity. Is Medusa gets to a point where he's strong enough to walk in front of the draft, and then he walks in front of your draft, and you play around him. If he's not ready to do that, and he's free farming, like, why do anything? You are just fine in this game, and you throw away 4 at a tower along with the bounties. Good job by Na'Vi to set up, push it, and Crystallize gonna have a Radiance soon.
This is exactly what Na'Vi needed as well. Like, it's the Radiance to come on the Crystallize, which is going to enable his team fight. You've got Blizzy. He had just lane pressure to this point. It was just Dominator, and he's looking to build into a full pipe for his team. The Eul Scepter was already completed on Magical, and he's already picked up the O Club and 1,000 gold to completing up the rest of his BKB. When he has that, there's no magical damage that's really going to stop him in these engagements.
Yep. And Z-Freak will finish the Blink, though. This does change things for complexity, because that next move, again, it's that same concept, right? The way the Cole lineup is built is Medusa walks in front, baits damage, gets people on top of them, chaos is created, and then all of a sudden...
You did not mean to search just then, did you? The chain stuns in from Z-Freak. He just revealed the Blink Dagger with the Blizzy. Gonna use the Darkseer wall, back and back into it, create more space so he can just search again. Searing Chains, where is it? He jukes down, he's turning around. He's looking for what? A kill over on Z-Freak. He's got the plus 90 damage. Miracle's hanging in the tree line as now Magical's gonna jump in. There goes your Spirit jump forward. Combining with a Fissure, Z-Freak will get the kill and Miracle will be able to TP away to safety.
Yeah, and it's just a good draft from Cole. Like, you've got the setup. Ember can make plays with these stun supports, as we just witnessed, but more importantly, it's about the concept of how you approach fights. Deuce in front, Venge's save, Shaker to combo break. Ember then has freedom to just do whatever he wants, find kills on this Rasta specifically. If you're Na'Vi, it's the same idea, but you're playing around the Wraith King. That's why he's going for this Radiance. You can expect a Halberd later. You're trying to reduce the Medusa damage, get in front, and create a situation where Na'Vi doesn't have to hard commit to threaten Limp, but can rather force him back by simply walking at him with, you know, an Ion Shelled Wraith King, maybe Darkseer surging forwards, Razor trying to find the Ember or the supports on the side. And the whole Na'Vi idea is we're going to just stay alive. You only have this one real major source of damage, and kill the Furion, which Death finishing the Orchid soon. It's not a bad item, but to your point, you know, you're going to have...
You just hold the door from Na'Vi. We just sustain through. That's all that needs to happen. They can still look for their own level of aggression too. Aetherlens has now arrived on Shu, so he's got that nice range initiation combining with the Jakiro, that's something that's really nice from Na'Vi. They don't even need the Razor for these fights. It's just having the 3-man hit squad, the Jakiro, the Shaman, and the Wraith King all together. And you see where their line's being drawn. They want to come into this northern jungle of complexity and make sure they've got some level of control. But the positioning of Death, he's going to break the smoke. And they've got friends. Ember Spirit able to get a double Searing Chains. The Ice Path actually catching him. And the chains are around. Miracle, he'll Spirit jump himself out. Here comes your Stone Gaze and the Echo Slam. Z-Freak hits the mark. Reincarnation will still be there. Blizzy looking for a back into the wall. They can't move away. Complexity, they're stepping on their own toes at this point. Limp's gonna have no damage left, and Magical's gonna have it all. 189 stolen damage. And Miracle, how many defensive spirits must he burn when these fights happen? They'll turn this damage into a tier 1 tower attack and maybe even more.
And that's a lot on Miracle. Z-Freak feels pressure to initiate there because Miracle's just getting shackled in his face with Fissure on cooldown. Like, you see them walking up the hill. Like, how many times have I criticized teams for walking up high grounds with no vision? That's an active shrine. But Cole, they just blow everything on the Reincarnate and just, hey, Darkseer's here. And that's that vac wall combo we talked about. Around the 19-20 minute mark, you've got level 4 Ice Path and you've got level 2 Vacuum.
The funny thing is, it wasn't even the Ice Path that was like the bigger factor. It was just literally they were crammed in this horrible choke point. They couldn't move away from the illusions. They couldn't move away with such low movement speed.
Yep, Adam's got to watch his positioning a bit more because not only did he get back there and immediately die before swapping, but like, you don't want to get back into the wall ever. And you just play a little more defensively. They're going to get 1 bounty rune once again. Na'Vi with the 3. And somehow, like, you know, Medusa is top of the net worth, but it's bouncing back and forth. And the way this hero works is you're supposed to be farming faster than pretty much every other hero in Dota, especially when you consider, you know, max split shot to start in a free game. Like, Limp is not farmed enough to secure the game for Complexity.
They're going to try and go for Roshan now, Complexity. A Blink Dagger is flying on the Courier to crystallize. In 23 seconds, he'll have his Reincarnate back up again. But you know, Darkseer is kind of feeling something. He can plant down that wall. The great thing is he can angle it however he wants to. Whoop, hello, swap 3-4-3. This would be a huge kill if they can kill off Blizzy. He cannot do anything. Hilariously enough, the Orc had made it so he couldn't get anything up, but the Shackles holding Vengeful Spirit in position, so crystallize. There's now unstoppable. The buyback comes in from the VS. Darkseer does not have that option. And Macropire has been burnt. So they push in the mid lane, try and push some pressure into the tower. And look at the Mass Serpent Walls, they can still fight potentially under Na'Vi.
It's really tough though. You can see Death's actually just gonna TP bottom, look to start shoving that lane out. We'll just don't have the damage.
Yep. He actually, he at least uses his TP scroll, so he can then use teleportation to get back into the fight if it does kick off. But hey, Orchid, first time we see it properly being used, does stop the Darkseer, because if Darkseer could just turn and vac wall then, that would have been a completely different engagement.
Exactly. It's just scary now for Cold. Like, Na'Vi's hitting a peak with their draft. They've got the Pipe, HOD on Darkseer, BKB Razor.
It's the same move. Yep. It's exactly the same move, just with less people.
Oh no, and Limp.
It's smoke and smoke. They're going to run around. They'll see Shaman. Where's the jump forward? The blink, the stun into the back lines. They want to kill off the Vengeful Spirit quickly. There's so many Undying minions and the Ice Path Z-Freak. It's just permanently controlled. There's no point to even Echo Slam because the minions were too far away. He wouldn't have got the extra buff he was looking for. And that's now 2 heroes down for Complexity. One of them being the critical one, the Vengeful Spirit, to help him do Roshan. Na'Vi will now slip in to do this and not trade their T1 tower on bottom lane for this Rosh.
You can't be leading with supports in this scenario. You want to be playing around your Ember, specifically your Medusa. If you allow Na'Vi to find your supports, like they're getting immediately pounced. And well done there by Chu on the roster though. Pre-clicking the Hex. He just got a faster click. Able to CC Z-Freak, gets the lockdown. They end up getting 2 kills and Roshan.
And they're going to actually save their bottom tier 1 tower. Yep. Crystallize is able to TP in nice and quick. Radiance helps him just mop up this wave so quickly.
Yep. He is so farmed, and again, that's the concern with the Prophet draft. I know Cole loved this hero, but you know this Shadow Blade is not going to do a damn thing. The moment this Furion gets jumped on, he will die, and he does not threaten any of the enemy cores. Whereas Crystallized with that Blink Radiance, like, he is so spooky, especially with an Ion Shell. You could surge him, and he's just going to go hard.
You know he's always going to get his Reincarnation off. This Mystic Snake is not burning off anywhere near enough mana. Like, there's no Nyx Assassin in this game. There's no Any-Major was banned out. So they know that by putting this Aegis the Immortal on Magical, they've basically got 2 Reincarnations in the next engagement. And Crystallized, there's your jump forward, looking for his target. 3-4-3 with a new presented one. They actually raid by a Blast Z-Freak, but the Shackles on Ember Spirit. Chu's positioning is right on the money. Complexity lose 2, and Na'Vi will push forward. They need a creep wave, however. It's on the way.
That is just, they did not get that D ward off, so Adam's walking up the hill to do it and just kind of wanders into the enemies. Miracle then follows suit. They lose 2 for nothing, and Na'Vi continue the push. They're feeling very strong. Look at
Crystallize, they're just surging forward. Hurricane Pike is up, but Darkseer just creates a copy. Into the back lines, Master wards it down with 24 minutes in, but this tier 3 tower doesn't stand a chance.
It's really well played by Na'Vi. They're gonna most likely finish off this.
They're backing
the wards.
The wards are dying quickly. They'll be able to deny their tier 3 tower if they want to, but they really don't want to.
You do not ever deny that. Ah, man, they're gonna miss the kill as well. This is just, is this an invis? No, it's a smoke, a solo smoke.
Really? From Z-Freak?
He's got his ultimate level 2, so he was trying to punish Na'Vi, but they do a really good job there. They recognize, like, you can't just go high ground into Deuce, Shaker, Venge as they respawn. It's just a terrible decision. So they apply as much damage as possible, and then they get the hell out of there before Cole has a chance to strike.
Look at this from Na'Vi as well. It's the secondary smoke being used by compLexity. They're hunting for a kill, but Na'Vi, like, get back, and they pinged heavily the exact point that compLexity were looking to fight.
I still don't get this smoke, because, like, you don't have the Deuce in front anyway. So there's no scenario where this is going to end favorably for Cole. You can see, it's just, they're playing it right. Hey, I have a Wraith King. I'm just going to go in.
Right on top of the Earthshaker. There's nothing Z-Freak can really do. He lands the stun, but the Radiance Burn is making it so this Blink Dagger is completely inert.
It's just easy. It's so easy. And Na'Vi, they're going to continue to do this. Wraith King is going to get the buffs up and just go forwards. Limp's not really willing to do that just yet. And, you know, not to criticize him again, but if you're going to play this style, you know Cole's going to go for the late game. Why are we rushing Hurricane Pike on a Medusa? I see every other Dusa when free farming rush that Manta because it's the item that increases your farming speed the most. You get that extra wave with the Manta illusions, you go to continue jungling. If you're going to buy this item anyway, why isn't it first? Why isn't it first? Are you trying to end the game at 20 minutes because it doesn't feel like that's how it's being played?
Hey, you thought Kyle was happy with compLexity, you thought wrong. But Na'Vi are still playing this great. Like, their positioning is perfect, their vision game, even though they are walking up high ground, sometimes a little bit blind, it's still working out. It's still working out for them because their combination is stronger. Now they just look around for their own fight. Death is TPing out. Limp, he's going to be isolated. He has no TP scroll. He had no way out of here, so Chu just trapped him in. There's no way to escape for this Dusa. Limp is in no man's land. The pressure to the top tier 3 tower has done some damage, but the Deucer being dead for 70 seconds is going to hurt a hell of a lot more than the small chip damage to the tier 3 tower of Na'Vi.
Yeah, it's well played. The Na'Vi's just utilizing their heroes in the right places on the map. That works because Razor is showing mid the entire time. He can do this because he's got a Yules and a BKB. And the Aegis. Yeah, I should have mentioned.
They know where 343 is. I think they even saw him plant the Observer Ward. Blizzy doesn't want to give up the chase. He doesn't have to. Crystallize will rotate over a nice dominated Alpha Wolf. All the extra damage they want.
This is a much better Na'Vi than we saw yesterday. They are composed.
They have a plan.
Yeah, exactly. They have a plan, and it's being executed. The little things, you know, Blizzy on the Darkseer just done so well thus far, and the little things. He's got Balto. He's got the little wolf. They got a Venge Aura of their own, thanks to this handy creep, and it's just the way they're playing. You know, Magical showing mid that creates that opening where Cole are deceived, thinking they could be safe for a bit longer. They find the Medusa. Now they find the Venge.
And look at the two.
They find a Rex.
The 2 targets they can go on. This is when the Aegis Immortal was up for Magical, and Crystallize on the front line. Z-Freak's like, well, okay, I have a creep wave and a half sitting on top of 2 cores, and it's still not worth going in for the Echo Slam.
It just doesn't feel like they have the understanding right now of like what their win condition is. I still don't grasp Death's item decisions. There's no Vlads on compLexity. There's no Vlads. You have a Medusa, you have a Venge. You're obviously planning on this damage amplification aura strat, right? Where's the Vlads? Why is the Furion going for an Orchid Nullifier build when Na'Vi have consistently demonstrated, hey, we're gonna team fight by following a hasted Wraith King into a 5-on-5? And you're never going to get an opening to find a Rasta of Chu on, what, like top lane as his rest of his team is trying to go engage. It doesn't make sense.
That Observe Ward in mid lane actually saved compLexity's life. They saw Na'Vi move up and just try and wait for the fight. So all compLexity had to do was just dodge, go to their own jungle. and waste the time of 4 players of Na'Vi. Didn't waste the time of Razor, who was still having a good time on top. And Ted's going again. He really wants to make them look behind themselves. Eating into the tier 3 tower. They'll bait out the fortification while Razor is watching in the mid lane. He's wondering who he wants to go on. The fissure. There is going to be that Link stealing a fair chunk of damage, but no way to follow. That fissure from Z-Freak is perfectly diagonally cutting that mid. And Death gets away to safety.
You will hit a power spike pretty soon. You're going to have...
She's got Nullifier.
Deuce is level 20 now, along with Scotty and 1,500 gold. If Na'Vi make moves quickly, they won't have Roche for 1.5 to 4.5 minutes.
Yep.
But once they do, you know, you look at it, Radiance AC on Wraith King. It's such a cool concept. Like, these items that increase your survivability and your damage output are so valuable. And when you have an Aegis on Razor, you've got 2 immortal targets on the front lines. Cole need to win fights by jumping the back, but how do you get vision? How do you find those heroes?
Just get out of there. He could have potentially... Actually, no, he can't even TP scroll because the yield from Magical would have cancelled it straight away.
Yep. And he's got a dust too. Really well done by Magical. His items are very efficient. He's going to get the Chivas next, recognizing again.
Fire Observe Ward is absolutely perfect. They see so much. Magical just has the BKB up, runs forward. The VS swaps out, but remember, it will not break the shackles. So Chu just keeps the never-ending control out. And Z freaking 3-4-3 now just gave an extra 2 kills to Magical if he wasn't strong enough. Is there another miracle? Would you like to offer yourself?
compLexity has yet to take a fight the way their draft is designed. Medusa in the front, baiting the engagement, accepting the damage, and allowing his teammates to play around his positioning. It just... Na'Vi, on the other hand, they've done it to a T. They traded towers effectively. They made the best of what could have been a very poor laning phase.
Yep.
Didn't fall behind. They got to a point where they felt strong, and then they've abused this timing since to just run away with the game. Like, has Cole, like, how many unanswered kills have Na'Vi acquired? It feels like 10 plus.
A lot. It was the same in game 1 though. Like, there were so many pickups that Na'Vi got, which compLexity were never able to really answer. And now Limp's got his work cut out for him, having to defend. The mid lane pushes in. Now they actually almost want to push that back out right now to stop the backdoor protection. I mean, to have the backdoor protection, but when you get the back wall ice path combination, compLexity have no answer. A double buyback will do it. So, okay, money is your answer. No matter how much investment you get into compLexity, it's still not going to let you buy your way out of this position. The melee rank is going down to the mass serpent wards. Limp is having a hard time getting close enough, and then they just jump the backlines. Another VS swap, but it doesn't stop Z-Freak from burning to the Wraith Fire Blast. That Devil just follows you to the grave. Wraith King, lock him down. He actually still is fine. He's level 21. The reincarnation will just pop at level 3, and then maybe with the Echo Slam, there it is from Z-Freak, but it's still not enough. They're just burning out of here. No way for compLexity to really stay in this game. Death can't TP out. He's actually burning. No, okay, he can. He had to TP back to base, but you still lose your top lane of racks. And really, what was the cost? 3 buybacks. 2 from your supports, 1 from your core.
It's just, we talked about it. You set it up, Toby. So you get a point with Na'Vi. They're just so tanky. They're so tanky, and it's so easy for them to protect their supports, whereas consistent.
Oh, come on, Death. Now we see if your items can be enough with the bounce through. Can he actually get the solo kill on Magical? You'll Scepter up, he's gonna commit to hanging around. The back, the Hex! No! Magical's going to survive! Oh, shit. Put all that money.
It just
items to get you a kill and control.
It's this idea of when you look at net worth, it can be deceiving. 16,000 gold on a Furion in this game is less valuable than 14,500 on the Darkseer. The Wraith King, the Razor, like when Wraith King is 20k net worth, like the items you're buying are just so value. Radiance, AC, like this is insane. Orchid Nullifier cost pretty similar amounts, but they don't do anything in these 5-on-5 engagements that in the new game of Dota, you know, you hear pros complain sometimes. I can't outplay anybody anymore. It's 5-on-5s.
All right, Roshan, can you contest it? The Wave of Terror is actually helping Na'Vi to kill off Roshan. Is giving him the negative armor effect. The Centaur is just scouting around the fissure. They see Roshan, 600, 500. The stuns in the Vengeful Spirit. She won't get close enough. And that is Roshan to Na'Vi. Aegis into the Razor, Cheese on the Wraith King, and look at him move forward. Darkseer looking for a body block on 343. That won't happen, but it won't matter. Na'Vi will just move to bottom lane and look to get Megas. And there's only one buyback that compLexity has available, and that's Nature's Prophet. Everyone else is either on cooldown or the Ember Spirit has not enough money.
Yep. And if you look at the tail of the tape, I believe this game comes down to the supports. You know, you look at Na'Vi, 6 deaths between them, 31 assists. The Cole supports, they've got 20 out of these 30 deaths, and that's the concern. And it's partly their fault. There was some poor positioning. It's tough in a game where your Prophet's not going teamfight items, but
2 big items for the fight the compLexity will have to use. They have the Bloodthorn and they have a life. Do they? Well, the Macro Pie is pretty damn good. Same with the Ice Path. The Stone Gate is going to work, but discarding from Medusa. She needs some space. She needs to push back. Z-Freak, he'll get the Echo Slam off. But remember, Razor still got the Aegis the Immortal. The 2 heroes down. Z-Freak feels like he just died for absolutely nothing. Miracle is caught in the back lines. He can do nothing apart from die himself, just like the rest of compLexity, just like their hopes. This game is done. Na'Vi will claim the bottom lane of ranks, but with Miracle dead for 70 seconds, with no major abilities up, and Na'Vi being totally unstoppable, they'll go from 1 kill to 1 kill to winning this game and proceeding into that winner's bracket. Great play from Na'Vi, and I gotta say, the improvement they've had in just the course of 24 hours is not from just drafting well, it's from execution. That's why they deserve to go to the next round.
They looked completely out of place in their series against Team Team, whereas today they showed up. Drafts are solid, game plan solid, itemization, movement. It's about how they're utilizing their heroes around the map. It's just, it looked like they had unity all of a sudden. This is good.
All right, Na'Vi with unity. Of course, they still have to battle against TNC to actually get that upper bracket match. Just to correct myself right there, compLexity. 4th position in the group. A sad, sad story for compLexity.
Indeed it is. We know one of the positions now, or at least 2 of our positions in Group A. Team will go through in 1st, and compLexity will go through at least in 4th. The final tiebreaker match, of course, still to come. We thought at the end of that draft that Medusa pick was a good pick, and to be fair, it was. It worked out okay in the early game, and looked for all intents and purposes to be doing what it was supposed to be doing, but it wasn't enough, was it?
It wasn't enough, and it just felt like he fell behind too much. We were talking about the timings throughout the game, and it felt like Na'Vi really abused that to be able to, you know, come online at a time where Medusa was like, oh, I just need another 3 minutes or so.
Please don't harass me for another 5 and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Completely different.
It's a weird hero to try to get into fights. It's like you have to force them to fight around your Medusa, kind of, but if she does go and push towers, it's obvious. Maybe they'll split push you. Like, it just kind of felt like Limp was just hitting neutrals the whole game. He was 1-3 and 2 that game. He had 400 CS, which was great. But like, his first items was like Hurricane Pike and Manta. Like, those 2 items are so gold inefficient for a carry. Like, they are really not great items. So it just kind of felt like he wasn't with his team, and he also just didn't ever team fight anyways, so eventually they just team fought better. Like, they had a couple of fights, but he just wasn't there a lot of cases. I don't know. It's like one of those things where you have to go back and watch the replay and realize, like, why wasn't he with his team when they fought? And was it his fault? Was it just features of the game? It's hard to watch just from observing. I don't know.
They put a lot of faith into depth, and, you know, it seemed like the Prophet was really doing a decent job, you know, split pushing around the entire map.
That wasn't what we expected either, was it?
Yeah, he picked up the Nullifier, but that position 3 Prophet, not something that they've done at all in recent times, but, you know, just wanting to change it up a little bit, not working for them this time.
I mean, at least that's the experimentation we were talking about, wasn't it? If you're gonna use the group stage to experiment, then do that, you know, actually go out there and try something different, and at least they've done that. On the flip side of it, that was probably the best performance we've seen from Na'Vi of all the matches that they've played so far.
Yeah, it was very clinical. I don't think Magical died once. He finished on at least 6-0 and 14, I think. There were probably a couple of kills and assists that came at the very end there, but, you know, very strong performance out of him. He fulfilled his role perfectly, and it was just, again, a lineup that's quite hard to kill because you drain a lot of the damage coming out from the entire team, and then if they focus you, then again, you're probably going to survive just the way he itemized. And then if they go the Wraith King, the other main core, he's got a second life. So you don't really have to worry too much about, you know, war of attrition going the other team's way.
I just love the synergy that Na'Vi pulled together with that last pick. Like, it looked, maybe not even the last pick, but like Vacuum into Ice Path, for example, was huge in some of these clips we already saw. Even like Macro Pyre was massive. Like, the vacuum wall messing around with Macro Pyre slow heroes was huge. And just the fact that they get Ion Shell and Surge the Wraith King forward made him such a better hero. I even loved he bought just a Windlace on his hero, didn't end up upgrading it to a whole drone, which would be 1600 gold. It's like, I have this cheap item, it's going to increase my movement speed by 20, which is going to amplify by a lot once I get Surged later on. It was just like little refinements there that made him, despite having like a kind of iffy laning stage, it's like Na'Vi just looked like a really solid team by the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a much better Jakiro game.
It was. It was a much better Jakiro game. And it's not like it was flawless from Na'Vi as well. You know, they've got stuff to take from that as well. There was one time when Crystallized died when he was level 6 and he hadn't actually leveled up his Reincarnate, so he just died instead of actually, you know, putting it on cooldown.
Yeah, a couple of awkward moments to get over, but nevertheless, a 2-0 sweep as well. compLexity have finished bottom in this group. Is that a fair reflection of where they are right now?
Based on that game, probably. Yeah. I mean, you know, it sucks for them, right? Because they would probably want to be coming up against Signify in the lower bracket on the other side. Yeah. But, you know, I believe they have finished in 4th place in
Signify have gone down 2-0 in the other game.
So they'll likely be playing against 3rd place in Group A. And so, you know, now to be in that 4th position, you don't have that, I suppose, slightly easier run through to the top 6. So,
potentially.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult for them.
Yeah, definitely tougher. From Na'Vi's point of view, Kevin, as I said, probably the best performance we've seen of them so far. Is it enough to translate into getting into the top 2 positions in this group? Because ultimately, that's what's up against them for their next match.
I mean, it's gonna be hard for sure. They got to beat TNC. TNC is a fantastic team. I would say Na'Vi does seem like they kind of have their game plan together. Their synergies and their drafts are planned out a little bit. And based on this match, I think they're playing better than TNC. Because after all, they 2-0'd Cole. Cole got 1-2'd against TNC.
I like that maths.
Gonna win, obvious.
Those maths are perfect. I'm totally down with those kind of maths. Right, let's catch up with a member of the winning team. Find out who Suraction Slatch has commandeered from the player area.
Hey, thanks, guys. And I am here with Blizzy from Na'Vi. How you doing, Blizzy?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I had a lot of questions for you about that series, but first off, I want to talk to you a little bit, man. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about Na'Vi. Tell me about your life, bro.
Just regular life, I don't know. I'm just playing Dota. Nothing special, actually.
Oh, come on, Blizzy. Tell me one interesting thing about yourself. I don't get you in front of camera too often.
One interesting thing? I'm not really interested. Interesting person, yeah. But something about me, I don't know. I very love cars. So I'm gonna try hard for this Mercedes-Benz if they give it here for MVP.
Okay, so you're in the market for the Mercedes then, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we'll remember that for next time, Blizzy.
Mercedes.
Oh, there we go. Nice sellout segment. ESL's going to love this one. All right, so anyway, first question for you. In Game 1, we saw compLexity picking up that Jakiro. Game 2, we saw you guys pick it up, and it seemed to work a lot better for you. Can you talk to me about that? Why did theirs not work and yours did?
Our Jakiro was good because we picked it against Furion. It's a very good hero against Furion. He clearing the wave, he defending towers, so it's good hero for us. First games, it was not really a good game for Jakiro for them. Yeah, that's how it works.
I gotcha. So today you're up against a North American team. You seem much more in your element. Yesterday, not so great against Team. How do you compare those two teams, and what do you think about the NA region as a whole?
I don't really know anything about NA region. They just play regular Dota, and I know. But about us, we had bad draft yesterday, so we talk a lot, and we decided to change our game style. So now we're gonna, you're gonna see new Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Yesterday Na'Vi.
I can tell you guys played a lot more confident today. Is that kind of how you guys feel right now?
Yeah, we just pick more good heroes for us, more comfortable heroes, and we just win.
All right, Blizzy. Well, I can feel that confidence. A great series we saw so far today, and I can't wait to see another one. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Oh, back to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Suraction Slatch there with the Blizzy in the player area. Sorry about the start of that one. Weren't quite ready for that one. I think I caught the production team out on that one. let's wrap up on the series, gents, and give our final thoughts on this one. We won't see either of these two teams now in the group stages. Well, we'll see Na'Vi, obviously. We won't see compLexity again in this group stage. They've got a lot to think about over the next day or so, because they do get effectively, you know, some time now to think about it before they go to the main event.
Yep.
What do they talk about exactly? I mean, or is this just a case of let's just sit down and practice as a team?
I know Kips as a coach is very regimented about the way she likes to go about things, and I'm sure they wouldn't have gone into this underprepared. You know, she's a very prepared person and just wants the team to fulfill their best potential. And I still think I like their game style of having, you know, a set way that they play.
Right.
Maybe it just doesn't fit this meta right now. You know, they've got a couple of days to, you know, the rest of today and tomorrow to practice up, see what might work for them, and then, you know, maybe hit it with a slightly different edge coming into the first day of the main event.
Okay. Kevin, agree, disagree?
I agree with what you're saying. I am scared because it's one of those things where, like, even if you feel like, oh, this is the way that we want to play, you have to be confident about it. It has to feel good. It has to fit your players. And if I can just see some circumstances where a coach will say like, oh, this play style makes sense, and it does make sense to take towers and to have push potential and all these things, but like, you need to be comfortable. You need to have like confidence behind it, and it needs to like fit your play style. And if you don't get success, that confidence is going to affect what moves you make in game, and it's going to be less likely to succeed. So what it feels like to me is they need to like play a bunch of scrims to find something that they feel more confidence with, that they feel like makes sense, rather than just try to like keep plowing ahead, being like, no guys, really, it's gonna work next time. I don't know. It just,
I mean, you get confidence from the wins, right? It comes from being successful and getting there. And I haven't had that yet.
And if you are too static, they're gonna figure it out as well. And it does seem that they're very focused around having like the ability to push. But maybe they're revealing it too early. I'm not sure. There's a lot of ways to counter. It's so hard to be a top tier team right now.
Yeah, absolutely it is. There's a lot of competition out there right now. The man at the center of the 4 Protects 1 is in the player area right now, so let's hear from him. He's with Thrash and Slacks.
Hey guys, have a chance to talk to Miracle from compLexity. How we doing, boss?
Well, we just lost, so not exactly like the best, I suppose.
Yeah, I understand. I always have to ask how you're doing after a loss, and the answer is always the same. I've never met anyone that's been happy after a loss. Have you ever felt that way? You ever felt like confident after a loss?
How do you feel that way? I'm not sure how exactly do you feel that way.
Okay, well, I'll stop asking that question then. Thank you, Miracle. So tell me about that series. What kind of went wrong for you guys? How do you think you can improve?
I feel like the first game was like, I think the lanes didn't go exactly as well as we planned. Like we had a Jakiro against a Templar, and it didn't go very well. And I believe like we could have done better in like outside lanes as well, but it didn't exactly go as planned. And like instead of like this overwhelming team fight that we had, we actually like pretty much lost majority of the team fights.
It was an interesting choice with the Jakiro mid. You know, traditionally that's kind of a little risky. Who made that call, and any particular reason why you thought it would work?
I believe like because we didn't have the last pick, so like regardless of whatever you pick, it's gonna get counted. So like Lim actually wanted to like he wanted to play Jakiro, but since we I believe Jakiro can go off lane as well. Yeah. Like so like we just like, you know, just picked it and then like see how it goes and see what they pick. And then they went for a TA, so obviously we commit.
Absolutely. So what are your plans now? How are you going to bounce back from this and prep for the next team?
I mean, I believe we have like 1 or 2 days before the next series, right? So like the next game is like on stage, everyone's going to be nervous. We're going to take advantage of that, I suppose.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you guys don't seem too nervous at all, man.
Nope.
All right. Good to hear, Miracle. Thank you so much for your time. A pleasure. And best of luck on stage. Thank you. And back to you guys over at the panel. Bye.
Thank you, Thrash and Slacks. I never not enjoy an interview with Jake. He mentioned at the start of that, by the way, has anyone ever been happy after they've lost? The last time I remember a player being happy was PPD.
At TIA.
At TIA, after losing to Virtus Pro and finishing 7th, 8th.
They 2-1'd him. Like, they lost 2-1.
And Machine was kind of interviewing him, and he was kind of, oh, I'm sorry you lost. And he was like, don't be, I'm okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, he's like top 8 at TIA.
Top 8 at TIA, exactly, right? So yeah, so sometimes they're happy. Did that reveal anything? Did that interview reveal anything that we didn't already know?
I would say he seemed better spirits than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm feeling down for them, but he seemed kind of semi-content. Like, they're like, oh, we saw some things. Like, the fact that Limp asked for Jakiro also made me more confident, too. Didn't feel like he is being forced into a playstyle he doesn't necessarily want. That was what he requested, and they thought, I mean, the way that he explained, like, oh, they could go both lanes, we'll see what they pick. I was kind of like, I mean...
Jakira's probably not the one to do that with.
Yeah, it's like, is that really going to work? I'm not sure, but more confidence than I expected, so I think that's going to potentially make them do better when they actually do get
certainly
the
not down on themselves.
No, absolutely not. And now
almost
they've
realistic in a way, weren't they? They were kind of like, yeah, no, we kind of realised this is probably where we'd be.
And they've got the chance, I think it's an advantageous spot to see, because they're going to be playing the loser of Mineski and the Pango, I believe, which is the last series of today, I think. And so if you're able to really pinpoint, right, what is it that's actually caused them to lose? Maybe they can exploit that when it does get through the main stage.
Yeah, maybe. All questions that we'll use for another day as we head towards a break here in Mumbai, our first series in the bag. But don't go too far away, because our second series is coming up. It features Na'Vi yet again. This time, they're up against TNC for a place in the upper bracket this season.
Spirit, he's got, is there a cancel? Oh, he reached him just in time!